a lot of times I just wonder, like, what's the rest of the world doing? Uh, and by that I mean, what's the rest of my fellow film critics and my film commentarians? Who are these people? Who are these trusted sources? Are they really watching these movies? Are they really thinking about them? Are they involving these films with their lives? And often, it's just not the case. There's just too much negativity. There's no true insight. There's no true criticism. Uh, the criteria of what even people want from a film critic, it's corrupted. I realized all of these things yet again while I was watching. Here we go, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 from 2024. And why is that? Well, here we go. I want to get into it. So let's. We need that intro out of the way. So let's just play the intro. And I got
quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production. Take one.
Action.
Yeah, I don't want no promos, no anything. There's a level of frustration with this episode. My AKAPAD. See, I thought of a good experiment. There was Sonic the Hedgehog. We have Sonic 1, 2, and 3. 3 movies. It's a franchise. Sonic film series. Let me just open this up real quick. The Sonic film series. We have 2020. Now, I believe Tim Miller from Deadpool fame, a little bit involved with Sonic the Hedgehog. Originally, images of Sonic leaked or were released or something like that. And people screamed, the internet hated it, and they corrected the design work. So, and it doesn't mean it does, and sometimes it could just be a render. Like they render the character differently to make him look more furry. It's one of the great examples of a film or a film studio or a production listening to the fans during the process. So 2022, the film was a hit. Then we had a sequel 2 years later in 2022. So we have 2020, 2022, and recently Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in 2024. Collectively, as far as I don't know the storyline for Sonic. It looks like they've introduced a lot of like all the characters people want to see. For example, this movie has Shadow. He's the dynamic opposite. He's somewhat of a mutant, somewhat of a clone of the original Sonic. They share similar powers. One's good, one's evil. Dynamic opposites, right? We talk about this being one of the formulas. We have Tails and Knuckles, his two best friends. And then, we have Dr. Kilowatt, whatever, Dr. Robotnik, Ivo Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey, who in this movie plays a dual role. He plays his grandfather and and himself. Really high-end stuff. Jim Carrey has a wonderful platform in this movie. It's crazy. He's yet attached to another billion-dollar franchise because that's what these movies are. These are $1.5 billion. Now, the box office for Sonic the Hedgehog 2020, I think it came in roughly at 100, or the box office was 150 million. The franchise itself has grown since inception. So what's angering me about this? I'm going to answer your questions. A little bit of a a little bit of a experiment. I thought about this and I thought about the Equalizer. See, I have yet to see the Denzel Washington Equalizer movies, but there's 3 of them. I know that because I'm constantly getting fed Equalizer 3 on my Amazon devices. And I thought, wow, let me just watch it. Let's just jump into the 3rd movie. This is something I am practicing what I preach. I always preach about this. I preach about like letting the series do what the series needs to do. Like, let the series take form and you participate into the series at the middle, at the end, at the beginning. It doesn't matter. This is something we can do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can jump into any Star Wars movie and get an idea what that series is. You don't have to watch it from the beginning. Don't even bother. Equalizer, I think, is a great way to do that. Well, while I had that idea, on Paramount Plus, Sonic 3 popped up. And I said, you know what, let's start with Sonic. Because I don't know, I know more about Denzel and the Equalizer, just because it's based in reality, than I know about Sonic. And I know people love these movies. So here we go. I press play, and I'm watching it. And the thing moves. It's freaking good. The action's great. The humor's there. James Marsden. Love James Marsden. So all of these things aren't all cylinders. And then I realized I'm watching a third movie. There's a sequence. The music in this movie is fantastic. But there's a sequence where Dr. Robotnik is playing drums with his giant fat belly, and to get back into form, because Sonic is now asking for his help, they have to shave his head because he has to get into character, which I thought was hilarious. So they shave his head so he looks like the video game. He looks like the action figure, and they do it to they basically do it to Smack My Bitch Up by Prodigy. We later get a wonderful music sequence yet again with Dr. Robotnik and his grandfather, or kind of, alternate self-ish, when they're using their laser reflective suits to move through a laser tunnel, Mission Impossible style. And that's a whole dance sequence, and that's mesmerizing because it's really Jim Carrey dancing by himself. The effects of that alone, I think, are great. The way how they made Shadow cooler than a cucumber. There are scenes where he's floating in this tank, and he's becomes friends with this little girl at this evil laboratory. There's highs and lows in emotion on this. At the end, Sonic, I don't care if I'm playing spoiler, Sonic and his arch nemesis Shadow basically become godlike forms, and they duel. They fight it out. One becomes bright white, and the other one becomes orange, like literally looking like Pikachu. We get Pikachu jokes and references in this movie. It's there. So, and I'm watching this, and I'm just flat out as a blind audience member enjoying it, and then I realize something. Where's the commentary? Where is it? Because this is a trilogy. This is the third movie. We don't discuss Sonic as a trilogy now. We don't position it that way. No one's even said that this is a modern day example of the heights of trilogies. Because I'm going to make the assumption that these movies got a little bit better as they go along. I just see a lot here. So then I look up, I'm like, who's the a-hole? Who's the butthole that made this movie? And his name's Jeff Fowler. So I'm like, great filmography. Let's get his filmography. Well, outside of being nominated for a Best Oscar for a short animated film, he's made 3 movies. And those 3 movies are all Sonic movies. So we now have a visionary making Sonic. Television, Knuckles. Sonic's like, I guess he's like German and broken English, because he's like a bruiser. He introduced Sonic into the world in 2024 through a miniseries. So he's highly involved with this franchise, and he has ushered this franchise into a $1.5 billion empire. And no one's here to talk about it. So we're going to watch Sonic 1. We're going to watch Sonic 2. I'm going to watch and rewatch these movies until the lore. I guess I have to do some research. But I want to fall deeply into Sonic. I have to do it, guys. I'm sorry. Because this is extraordinary to me. We have what might be a perfect trilogy to measure against the Lord of the Rings. Think about that. Guys, check this movie out. I had a blast. Rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.